Lindsay. Welcome back to The Wandering Reader. Today I'm going to be talking to you about what I am currently reading. So I have 4 books on my currently reading shelf on Goodreads, which is actually not too bad. I had a bit of a cleanse last month. I'm not sure if I talked about that in my last sort of like currently reading video, but I felt like I needed a bit of a cleanse. I'd had books on there for a while that I hadn't picked up at all, and it was just getting a little bit overwhelming for me. So I cleared up my shelf, and now the ones I have on my shelf are ones that I am actively reading, apart from one which we'll get to. So that one is The Case Against Sugar by Gary Taubes. I have not picked this up since the last time I spoke to you, so I'm still on page 224. I still only have 1 chapter to go, so yeah, I'm just, well, 1 chapter in the epilogue. I'm just not finding the motivation to pick this up at the moment. There are too many other things that are kind of getting my attention, so yeah, hopefully by the time I film this video next month I won't be talking about this on a currently reading video anymore. The next book that I'm reading is The Fountains of Silence by Rita Sepetys. This is Rita Sepetys' most recent release. It came out at the beginning of October, and I am 102 pages into this. This is a sort of just under 500 page book. It is a historical fiction novel that's told from, I think, like 3 or 4 different perspectives, and it's set in Madrid in Spain just after the end of the Second World War, so 1957, so sort of like a few years after. And yeah, we're sort of following this country. They're still under the rule of, is it Franco? Yeah, General Franco. So it's like a, yeah, still sort of like a, it's not dictatorship, or is it a dictatorship? I don't really know. Yeah, a bit ignorant when it comes to stuff like that. Yeah, and sort of like the fallout of the 2 world wars and things like that. It's really, really interesting. I would say that this one is a lot more adult than her other 3 books fall into the category of YA. I'm not really sure if this is shelved as YA or not, but I would say that, yeah, this is a lot sort of just reading a lot more in the adult category, and it's definitely a book that I can't rush through. I felt like I sort of like her other books were like potato chip reading for me, like that kind of idea, but this one not so much, and so I'm taking my time with it, hence why I've only read 100 pages since the beginning of the month, and I haven't picked it up in a few days, so I must do that again, but I'm really liking it so far. And then I'm reading 2 books on my Kindle, the first of which is 13 Reasons Why by Jay Asher. This is a book that I was reading for the Contemporary-a-thon at the end of September, and I haven't finished yet. I'm about 60% of the way through this, so a good chunk of the way through. And this is a fairly popular book on BookTube, but in case you're not aware, this follows a boy called Clay, and he is listening to these tapes that he's been sent from this girl called Hannah, who committed suicide, I think sort of like a couple of months ago, and she sends these tapes to everybody who she says is involved in her death in some sort of way, as like a reason for her committing suicide, that kind of idea. And he is listening to each of these tapes, and each side of the tape, or each bit of the tape, is in reference to a particular person on the list, and then when he finishes listening to them, he then has to send them on to the next person. So yeah, about 60% of the way through that. I'm not really sure how I feel about it at the moment. It's fairly easy reading. Yeah, I just don't know what the message of it is going to be yet, so I'm sort of waiting to see what comes out of that before I sort of make my mind up about whether I like the book or not. But there's that one. And then one that I started last night on my Kindle is The Couple Next Door by Shari Lapena. I have a few Shari Lapena books on my TBR, and this one I am buddy reading with Krista over at Books and Jams, and I think it's her first book that she wrote, and basically this is a thriller, and it focuses around a couple who go to a party next door, and they leave their 6-month-old baby sort of home alone, and they take the baby monitor with them, and then when they get home, they sort of check on her every half an hour, and then when they get home they realise that she's not there anymore, and presumably she's been taken. I've only read the first few chapters of this. I think I'm something like 15% of the way through. I'm quite liking it so far. People have had a lot of good things to say about Shari Lapina's writing, and when I first started reading, it felt a little bit staccato, that there were too many short sentences, or there were too many sentences that started in a very similar way. So I wasn't too sure about that, but as we're getting into the story, obviously the more I'm becoming engaged in what's going on and where this baby has gone and what the police are doing and all of those kinds of things. So yeah, I'm enjoying that. Haven't yet talked to Krista because we only started it last night. I need to talk to Krista about how it's all going, but yeah, I'm enjoying it so far. So there we go, guys. So they are all of the books that I am currently reading. I'd love to have a chat with you in the comments below. Have you read any of these books? What did you think of them, and what are you reading at the moment? Thanks very much for watching, and I'll see you in my next video. Bye.